So I guess we better go ahead and practice doing the fucking theme song like were told. So
Why
who
would
wants
you
to start?
post that in the first place? Why?
Because because I
Why
think
why would you
I
even make that an option? You know they're going to choose the worst option.
y- do you know when I posted that I was like everyone's going to say Gravity Falls. God damn it. I knew everyone was going to say it, but I was like, whatever. I kind of hoped there would be some last minute thing of saying, hey, let's do, like the normal theme, but no, nothing to
No,
get that.
no, they want Gravity Falls.
Come on, come on. Alright,
All
Okay.
right.
wait, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alright, one,
Okay.
two,
Wait.
wait,
Okay.
what?
Go ahead and start. 3, 2, 1, and go. I can't do much for laughing. Hang on. Okay. This is gonna be the worst opening ever. Okay.
We got this.
I
Okay.
completely blame you for this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me stop laughing. Okay. Try again. Da, 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 da.
Fuck it.
Fuck it,
Oh,
we
Fuck
tried.
it. Start the show.
yes, we tried. So, yeah.
We tried.
Boom the bass like this, like this, like this, like
There you go.
Okay, hi everybody. It is Friday, August 21st, 2015, and that is easily the worst intro Nick ever had the idea to do. But speaking
Completely
of Nick, he's
John's
here.
fault.
Shut the fuck up, Nick. Shut up. I'll get to you in a minute. I'll blame you entirely in a minute. Anyway, Nick's here, and of course, Hurricane Dany has made landfall at last. Hi, Dany. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I finally am back. Yay, did it. Ah!
Woohoo.
I have no idea what that was, but it was adorable.
It was. It really, really was.
It was my I'm back sound.
Yay!
And now we're
But
doing
yeah.
my topic, which we've been waiting like 2 months to do.
Yes.
Yeah, like, Nick and I have been waiting for you to get back for months now, but,
Okay,
you know.
well, I went to my mom's house because she had a mental breakdown, and then I went to Kentucky, and then I had to go on vacation down to the Outer Banks, and school starts next week, and like, what we're cool. We're totally cool.
Well, we're glad you're back.
I'm also glad I'm back because this show has gone downhill in my absence because obviously I am the star.
Obviously.
It's true. It has sucked, and it's all Nick's fault, just like, the acapella version of the Gravity Falls theme. That's entirely his fault.
No,
But,
no.
Nick, okay,
You posted that.
okay, Nick.
You posted
Nick,
that on
Nick,
the site.
okay,
You
Nick,
uploaded
Nick,
that.
Nick. Okay, here. Tell you what, I'll give you 30 seconds, to convince the world that it was actually my doing.
Okay, John posted a poll with an option for us to do Gravity Falls a cappella, even though none of us have ever tried to do a song together, and
And I count too damn fast for Nick, so that's your time's up.
So it's John's fault.
yes.
Nope. It's still Nick's fault. It is still entirely Nick's fault.
Well, I mean, he was the only one of us on point, and I mean, he's the only one who didn't start laughing.
Yeah, I'm the only one who probably has singing experience, unless Danny has singing experience. Do you have singing experience?
I do have singing experience.
Well, then John is the one that doesn't have singing experience, who is also the one that failed.
I'm a soprano
I know I
too.
felt. You see, I was supposed to whistle, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. It was too amusing to actually start recording that. Speaking of amusing, Nick, you and I were discussing this earlier, but what is up with wax statues in Madame Tussauds?
I People are weird, and when you let them loose and do whatever they want, they do very weird things that are bad
Well,
and uncomfortable.
I think that the blame should be put on the people who made up the display because she is in a provocative position and
I kind
she
of
should be properly far away from the audience.
I kind of think if they had access to the statue at all in any position, they would still try to do that.
This is true. Nicki Minaj got the booty.
She
See,
does.
the funny part of all this is it was actually Nicki Minaj's idea. Like, they said, we want to do a statue of you from your Anaconda video because everyone knows that. Can
Well,
we do that?
she posed in the
Sure.
most iconic position, and
She
it was
was
just a
kind of
position of strength for her. But I don't think that she anticipated that they would have the display open in such a way that she would be humpable.
she's kind of in that position for more than half the video, so I can
Yeah.
understand.
Like, it's understandably difficult to pick a position for Nicki Minaj where she is not shaking her ass. But it's fine, whatever. But see, like, my issue is, do people really feel some weird compulsion to walk over to her and, like, put their face against cold wax and then act like they're screwing it? Like, what? I I, I
Yes.
I don't get that. I really don't. That's a weird thing
Have
behind
you
the scenes
not
to do.
have you not observed how humanity acts for the past couple centuries?
Well, see, I'd never be able to do that because I went to a wax museum at Plymouth Rock when I was really little, and it creeped me out really, really bad. So now I wax museums, I just can't do it. And Madame Tussauds, I went in once, and it's just so, everything is so realistic, and it's very creepy, and their eyes follow you no matter where you go. Mm.
You know what's amazing?
Hmm?
Being creeped out by that is actually a really awesome segue into the topic today. Hooray! We did it!
That was the most forced segue you've ever done, I think.
Yeah, that was actually awful.
John, are you okay? You're not having a good show day today. I'm just saying.
I'm not. First, I start laughing at myself, and no. So.
You're not doing too good.
Anyway, we're doing our cartoon show theory, conspiracy theory show. Yay!
Finally.
Yay!
Well, see, like I'm actually anxious to get to it because this is what 2 months now that we haven't been doing it.
Yeah. So
And
this
by the
proves
way,
we're not liars, audience. We're not liars. We're just. It takes us a while.
I went
the
on
entire
vacation.
time, for the entire time, Nick has been saying, "Go ahead and do it without Dany. She won't know."
Well, Well, I'm just saying, we've been promising the audience for how
Nick, you
long
are
now?
an awful person.
I am, because I care about the audience. I care about our fans.
I do too. That's why I said we're going to wait for Dany. Because Dany,
Yeah,
it
because
was
I'm the
Dany's
best
idea.
host.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, Nick.
Anyways,
Okay, so
so,
now that we're actually going to do the topic, we
yeah,
should start with it.
yes. And what are we gonna do first? Well, Danny should pick first.
We're
Because it's
doing
Danny's
You
Disney
should.
show.
first
You go
because
first.
I have a document that spans 56 pages
Wow.
of conspiracies, although the majority of it is just really big pictures, which
Well,
you
But
can't see.
people strap in. We're in for a ride.
Okay,
but see, okay, wait a minute, wait a minute. Does this mean that we have enough? Like I have like 2.5 pages of notes that I like just the shit I was going to talk about. So does this mean we're doing a double episode?
we may be doing a double episode.
We might.
Dun 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 dun. Actually, yeah.
Well,
That
because first
that's a
I'm
really good
doing
idea.
Disney and then I'm doing Pixar, since
Pixar.
the companies
We'll see.
work in tandem a lot of the time. So,
I actually okay. Like my list, I'll just read to you what I had. Ed, Ed and Eddie, Donald Duck, Smurfs, Aladdin, Inspector Gadget, Tom and Jerry, Charlie Brown, Pokemon, Toy Story, Magic School Bus, Wally, Fairly Odd Parents, Hey Arnold, My Neighbor Totoro, specifically Toy Story 3, Transformers, and then Nick suggested Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, which is the one thing I didn't write down.
Well, you stole that from me, but yeah.
we'll see. I thought that we would start off with more like cameos and then go into the conspiracies because they kind of go into each other, like different Disney characters showing up in different shows, different movies as like tiny little Easter eggs, and then that can evolve into conspiracies.
That makes sense.
Actually, a good one to start with. Uh, I mean, like a preamble type conspiracy here. Just just to go ahead and tie in the fact that we did Gravity Falls. One, that's an amazing damn show. Two, it's also apparently tied to another amazing show, Rick and Morty.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, the creators of the show are
Actually, no, I
actually
did see that theory. I did see that.
the creators of the show are actually really, really, really good friends. And there is an episode of Gravity Falls where Grunkle Stan is standing in front of a portal he just opened, and his coffee mug and notebook that he has with him go flying in the portal. And there's an episode of Rick and Morty where they walk by a portal and out comes a coffee mug and notebook.
Hmm.
Huh. I. It, that would be really interesting because Gravity Falls is owned by Disney and Rick and Morty is owned by Cartoon Network. So
Well, see, it's not like they have not smashed together two things that really shouldn't begin. Like, for example, Hanna-Barbera doing Jetsons and the Flintstones.
That I loved. That
yeah.
was one of my favorite things as a kid.
But anyway, Danny, start us off.
Okay, so if you're a fan of Disney and you watch the movies over and over and over and over again, you will eventually catch things that you didn't notice before. And I'm going to go through a list of things that have cameos from other people of other movies or other shows. And this is a list of about 30 titles, I think, and then it goes to Pixar. So, I don't know if this is in the movie or in the TV show spin-off, but in The Little Mermaid, when King Triton makes his entrance, if you look really closely, you can see Mickey, Donald, and Goofy in the crowd.
Huh.
In
That's in the
101
movie.
Dalmatians, In the Twilight Bark scene, you can see the Lady and the Tramp in the street.
Hmm.
In Aladdin, the Beast appears as one of the Sultan's toys near the top to the left. In The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Aladdin's magic carpet, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and Pumbaa from The Lion King are seen on the streets surrounding Notre Dame during the Out There scene.
That's a weird mix.
I don't think it really. I don't think they have like a set of characters. They're like, oh, we're just gonna like put these people together and it'll be really cool. I think it's more like, let's just throw in as many Easter eggs as we can and see if anybody catches them.
That seemed more likely.
In 101 Dalmatians, Peg from The Lady and the Tramp appears in the window of Percy's pet store during the Twilight Bark scene. In The Great Mouse Detective, Bill the Lizard from Alice in Wonderland is part of Ratigan's gang. Another one from The Little Mermaid, the King and the Grand Duke from Cinderella are guests during the wedding scene. In Brother Bear, Nemo makes a quick cameo in the scene where Kanai disrupts the salmon fishing. And I see this picture, and it's literally Nemo, and he's like got the weirdest look on his face, like, oh my god, what did I just do? In Oliver and Company, Jock, Peg, and Trusty from Lady and the Tramp make a quick cameo. In The Black Cauldron, when Taran, the princess, and wow, I'm not even going to try to say that name. When they discover the fair folk and their underground kingdom, Tinkerbell appears among the fairies.
Oh, she does. I didn't see her for a minute.
In Oliver and Company, Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective and Scooby-Doo are hidden among the pictures in the Perfect Isn't Easy scene. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I see them. That's cute. In Hercules, Scar is the slain lion, and I think that one is probably the most known Easter egg because it's very, very obvious. I think that one has the most screen time out of all of the cameos, because that's the only one that I've ever recognized myself. In The Princess and the Frog, Aladdin's magic carpet can be seen in the opening scene of the movie. That carpet gets around. In Tangled, Pinocchio is hidden up on the rafters above Flynn Rider during the I've Got a Dream scene. And in Lilo and Stitch, when Lilo is watching the falling star, a Dumbo toy sits in the background on the art easel.
I think I've seen that.
I'm looking at a picture of it now, and it's like, unless you know to look for it, you're not going to see it. And that's the case with a lot of these. It's like, if you don't know it's there, you probably aren't going to catch it.
Yeah.
A lot of Disney's background characters all usually look the same anyway.
Pretty much.
Yeah. In The Princess and the Frog, Lewis pulls on some swamp grass and imitates Madame Mim from The Sword and the Stone. In Tangled, as Rapunzel and Flynn read in the library, 3 classic Disney movies appear in book form. A Sleeping Beauty storybook is displayed next to the window, a copy of Beauty and the Beast lays on the ground, and The Little Mermaid sits on top of a side table. And you wouldn't ever be able to see this unless you paused this scene specifically. Because I'm looking at the picture now, and you have to literally pause this and zoom in at certain places to see what the books are.
I wonder how some people found stuff like that.
I think it might have been like something that catches their eye, and then they pause it and they look. I don't know. But it's good to have this information, don't you think?
Oh, definitely.
In Oliver and Company, Princess Aurora can be seen walking in the background. In The Princess and the Frog, King Triton appears as a Mardi Gras float. In Tarzan, Mrs. Potts and Chip are in Porter's camp. In The Rescuers, Bambi and his mother are seen during the Someone's Waiting for You scene. In The Princess and the Frog, while the song Dig a Little Deeper is being sung, a few items are thrown around, one of which is Genie's magic lamp from Aladdin. In Lilo and Stitch, a Mulan poster hangs in Nani's room. In Beauty and the Beast, when Maurice and Felipe are lost in the woods, they find a road sign. 2 of the routes on the sign read Anaheim and Valencia. Anaheim, where Disneyland is, Valencia, where California Institute of Arts is located, and many Disney artists come from. Treasure Planet, a Stitch doll sits on Jim's shelf.
I cannot speak so hard.
Wait, in Treasure Planet?
In Treasure Planet, a Stitch doll sits on his shelf.
But didn't Lilo and Stitch come out way after Treasure Planet?
See, that's the fun part of some of these cameos is that stuff from the future, stuff that comes out, is in past Disney movies. And it's like they had these ideas for years and years before, and they are subtly putting it in, saying, hey, this is what's coming next, or this is, an homage to something else. Pretty cool.
Also, if no one noticed, I feel like Treasure Planet is a highly underrated movie.
Treasure Planet is underrated.
I love that movie.
In The Fox and the Hound, Wart in squirrel form from The Sword and the Stone makes a cameo. In Lilo and Stitch, the ball from Pixar's Luxo Jr. can be seen in the background. That ball shows up in every Pixar movie. Every single one of them.
It really does.
Rapunzel and Flynn show up at Elsa's coronation in Frozen.
I think everyone knows about that one.
Yeah. That's the other one that's like overly obvious.
There's actually another issue with that. Like, I don't know if it's on your list, but Frozen, Tangled, and Little Mermaid actually all tie together.
They all exist in the same area.
Some people
and
think
Ariel and Hercules are cousins.
And some people think Tarzan is the brother of Elsa and Anna.
That would actually make sense.
Well, that one's debatable because Tarzan's mom and dad were very young when they got shipwrecked, and Elsa's mom and dad were kind of up there in age, so that one's a little debatable.
Well, see, like when their parents died, Elsa and Anna were probably no more than 10. So that would mean they're maybe 30-ish. Like, it's entirely possible for their parents to still have been fairly young. But, like, what I was getting at is all three stories are written by Hans Christian Andersen, which, by the way, is referenced in Frozen. So, the theory goes that Elsa and Anna's parents were on the way to visit somewhere, I forget where it was, and they crashed at a wreck in the ocean, and the ship is the one that Ariel is combing through in the being a Little Mermaid.
Weren't they going to Cinderella's wedding, I think?
Oh,
they were going to someone's wedding.
They were going to see their cousin or something like that, who is Rapunzel's mom, or I don't remember, something like that. They were going somewhere in that general area.
They were going to a wedding. I remember that.
And then like the end of it in Elsa's coronation, that's why they show up, and she's gone through all her stuff and until she has short hair. Something to that effect, I think.
I think that's the
No, it can't be Rapunzel because Rapunzel's at their thing, or is it? Or maybe it is Rapunzel's coronation. That makes sense.
Elsa's coronation is years after their parents died.
Yeah, it's easily 10, 15 years after.
But Rapunzel's really old when she makes her cameo.
No, she's not.
Well, I think she's too old when she makes her cameo for it to be Rapunzel's coronation.
It's not Rapunzel's coronation, it's Elsa's coronation, and it is Rapunzel. You can clearly see her.
It's clearly Rapunzel there. It's just, I don't think they were going to Rapunzel's coronation. I think they were going somewhere else.
Then why were they there in the scene of all the people going in to see Elsa's coronation?
Well, just because they were going somewhere else doesn't mean Rapunzel wasn't going to their coronation.
But,
Okay, hang on.
It wouldn't be in that town unless it was for that.
Elsa and Anna's parents were going somewhere, and I want to say it was to see Rapunzel's parents or something. I don't remember because they're all freaking royalty here and some shit. So she was going to see, their parents were going to see Rapunzel's parents or something like that. Anyway, shipwreck happens. That's where Ariel comes in. She's coming through it. So like Ariel's out of the pictures at one time because she doesn't matter anymore past that. What matters is that years later, Rapunzel and whatever the hell his name was are actually
Flynn.
walking in. You what?
His name is Flynn.
Yeah, thank you. They're actually walking in to the castle when Anna is running out, and it's right roughly as she starts her first major song. Other like well no second because she does Do You Want to Build a Snowman, and then there was whatever it was, and she runs into the prince dude thingy that I can't think of his name of.
Yeah, so.
Kristoff, that's it, Kristoff.
No, not Kristoff. Hans. Hans is the bad guy. Kristoff is the good guy. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
You just ruined the movie for everyone.
Sorry.
Honestly, I think with the fact that everyone knows everything about Frozen at this point in time, I don't think it's easy to ruin it. But yeah, anyway,
What about
yeah,
the future children that are going to be listening to our show, and then they're going to...
if you want to ruin stuff for future children, just explain to them that Darth Vader is actually Luke Skywalker's father, because that is like out of everything else. I don't know how this works. I mean, it's been out nearly 40 years now. Somehow.
I feel like we should have titled this show Spoilers.
Yeah. The title of this show shouldn't be We're Dany at Live. It should be Spoilers.
We're changing the title.
I don't know. But, like, see, somehow that seems to remain the most well-kept secret, even though it's been known for nearly 40 years now. Like, out of everything you could possibly reveal to anyone in the movie, watching Star Wars and hearing that line, like in Empire Strikes Back, and then, you find out, oh, look, it's confirmed in Return of the Jedi. It's like, oh my god, really?
Yeah, but, like, it makes sense.
Well, see, like, it would also make sense that no one would know things about Frozen, but it's the most popular animated movie of all time. Like, I really don't know anybody who has not seen Frozen. I really don't.
Anyway, moving on.
Maybe a 1-year-old baby.
A baby in the future.
I'm gonna go back to my cameos now, because now we're getting into Pixar. And
Yes.
Pixar is sneaky.
Pixar is very
Pixar really is sneaky with
In I don't know if in Toy Story 1, do you remember Sid's T-shirt had a skull on it?
Yeah.
Well, in Toy Story 3, if you look closely at the garbage man, he's wearing that same T-shirt. So, Sid has grown up to be a garbage man.
There's
In
also the pizza delivery truck is in all movies.
Yes, that is also in every movie. In Up, when Carl's house first takes off, it flies by a window of a little girl in an apartment building, and if you look at the toys in the room, it includes the Luxo ball and Lotso from Toy Story 3. Like I said, this ball is everywhere. In Brave, if you look closely, you can see the Pizza Planet truck. Because the old witch, when she's whittling, that's like the thing right next to her that she's done. Which is, we're in a medieval place, we ride horses, but here's the Pizza Planet truck. In Finding Nemo, Buzz Lightyear is among the toys in the dentist's office. In Ratatouille, Doug's shadow is clearly visible as he attempts to chase after Remy. In The Incredibles, Doc Hudson is parked on the street. In WALL-E, our favorite neurotic dinosaur Rex is part of WALL-E's collection.
I actually remember seeing Rex.
I don't remember seeing him. I mean, I'm looking at the picture now, but I'm like, I don't remember him being there. I'm like, if I watch it now, it'll be right there, but Let's see. In Up, if you notice in Up, Carl and Ellie's car has the exact same white wall tires that Lightning McQueen receives in the Radiator Springs in Cars. In Ratatouille, Linguini is wearing underwear with the Incredibles logo on them. In Cars, the Pizza Planet truck is there. In Finding Nemo, a kid is reading the Incredibles comic.
I want a movie about the pizza truck.
I know, it appears so often. So like, let's have a movie about this truck.
I want it to
Why
be
is
like
the
Back
pizza?
to the Future.
Why
Yeah.
is the pizza
Yes.
truck not in Cars? That's my question.
It is
No,
in
it
Cars.
is. It is.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
gonna have to go watch Cars again. Apparently.
I want the pizza truck to have a movie like
the pizza
Back
truck
to the
should have a
Future.
movie.
Like Back to the Future.
In Monsters, Inc., the whale from Pinocchio is hanging on a poster. In Brave, again, Sully is one of the wood carvings in the witch's house. In Toy Story 2, Mrs. Potato Head is reading A Bug's Life to the toddler tots. In Ratatouille, the mime in the background is actually Bon Voyage from The Incredibles. Oh, that's funny. In Toy Story 2, Heimlich from A Bug's Life makes a cameo, and he's just kind of crawling on a leaf in front of Buzz. In Cars 2, a Cars version of the tapestry from Brave is seen on a mantle, and that's kind of cute, actually. In Monsters, Inc., Boo tries to give Sully her Nemo toy, which I don't remember. I know she was giving him a toy, but I don't remember that it was Nemo. In Finding Nemo, Mike from Monsters, Inc. makes a cameo during the end credits. He's swimming in there. In Wall-E, the Pizza Planet truck is there again. In Cars 2, the movie playing at the drive-in is The Incredimobiles. In Toy Story 3, Andy either knows or is related to Carl and Ellie from Up. This is confirmed by the fact that he has a postcard sent from them on his pin board. And the Luxo ball. It says in Toy Story 3, and Up. Pretty much in everything.
There's
So okay,
many things.
since you've mentioned Toy Story like 97 times,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like just going ahead and getting into the depth of what Toy Story involves?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay. First off, I want to say, like since you've mentioned all the cameos here and everything, my initial point about Toy Story is, and this is incredible, it's actually part of the Whedonverse.
It's part of the what?
Okay, Josh Whedon, the director,
Mm-hmm.
all okay, everything he's ever done actually ties together. And he was, I believe, a writer or something on Toy Story 1. Everything he's ever been attached to ties together. So that means Toy Story is somehow part of stuff like Firefly and Buffy and stuff like that.
Also, everything Josh Whedon has ever done, I'm a fan of.
Yes.
I think most people are a fan of Josh Whedon and things that he has done.
He has done no wrong. There's nothing wrong with anything he has done.
No.
But see, to me, that actually goes hand in hand with, the Pixar theory. Like, all their movies actually show uh, stuff that's actually happened. Like, for example, Toy Story shows the toys being alive, and then that spreads to Cars at some point in time, and then Cars turns to Wall-E, and then Wall-E becomes, I think, in the Incredible. I don't remember like the big arc it makes, but it's weird. Like, it's really weird, but like it apparently it starts way back when with uh, Brave and stuff like that. Because there's stuff that comes alive in there that should not be alive in
Mhm.
that, and Frozen and everything else. So like all that ties together, and then as time progresses, like the witch's curse, whatever it was from Brave, winds up impacting toys, and toys become sentient, and then it becomes cars, and then everything else just progresses forward.
That's an interesting theory.
It is, and like since
My my
uh,
my question has always been whether Cars came before Wall-E or Wall-E came after Cars.
I think according to this big grand scheme thing, uh, Wally is actually after Cars because you have like Cars, and then you have Planes that comes in there, and then you see
I think
like
Wally would have to be the last thing in
Yeah.
the line because
Well,
Wally is kind of like a space kind of end of the road kind of movie.
the reason I
and
ask is because the theory with Cars is that humans are extinct, and
yeah,
then but then we see on Wall-E that they're on a spaceship too. So
Well,
okay,
that could just mean that they weren't on Earth anymore, and you'd think that they are extinct.
that's
Which
true.
is so.
it's it's okay. It's explained away uh, in this big overarching theory that because like toys and stuff like that are clearly alive, they have begun to outnumber people, and the people have been screwing up the environment, everything. Global warming is real. Um, so people are screwing things up, and cars and whatnot eventually become sentient because the toys did that. Like the machines they were using to create like a toy army or whatever, they wound
Mhm.
up making cars and stuff like that. So cars come to life, and then the cars and the planes and everything else run the planet for a while, and they completely destroy the planet. And by this point in time, humans have already left because, like you see, the sentient machines in Wally, like Eve. So humans have left the planet because it's too polluted because of all these cars and planes and shit running around. And what happens is the cars eventually have no one to maintain them. But there are little robots that have been built at some point in time to try and solve the problem, and that's mentioned in Wally as being humans trying to fix everything that they had done. So they left the robots behind to try and clean up the mess. Well, what's happened is the cars and planes have totally ruined everything, because like I said, they have no one to repair them, even though they can repair it themselves. But they have destroyed the environment, so they start rusting, and the cars and planes and stuff die off because there's no way to get fossil fuels and everything for them anymore. And so the robots come in, and that's where the Wally theory comes in. And Wally is apparently a cannibal, and Wally is responsible, in fact, entirely responsible for all the other machines because Wally supposedly has some kind of glitch, and he wanted to keep things that are destroying it. And so, all the other robots that look just like him are destroying what's left from the cars and the planes and the people and the toys and everything from having destroyed the planet. And Wally, because he's the only one who exhibits, like any sign of sentience, he looks at the other robots and he rips them apart. And if you see in the movie, like several times in the movie, he goes and he gets pieces from other robots to fix himself. So him being a cannibal makes perfect sense, but it winds up, with him, trying to say like the evil destructive robot is the one that actually saves the day because he's got a tree growing on Earth and humans come back and whatever.
Mhm. Well then.
That's basically the theory.
Very complicated theory.
It it makes sense, like it's like a timeline, and it makes sense if you're actually looking at it. But while we're on Toy Story, do you know the fact or the theory that Toy Story is a metaphor for the Holocaust?
Is it really?
Yes. It makes a lot now. Oh, allegory rather. Now this is dark as hell, and I'm very very sorry to be bringing it up. Not really, but it's
It kind
really
of makes
creepy to
sense
think
to
about it.
me.
Okay. It starts off with the toys are being left behind, and that's supposed to be the same way the Jews were left behind by their nations. Just like whatever, we're leaving. But like the poor people and whatever were left behind. To try and fend off the Nazis. Well, the Nazis come in and uh, they're told they're fine and whatever. Uh, but there's a point in Toy Story 3 where Woody is giving a speech, and it's almost word for word like what was in The Pianist. Uh, he said something to the effect of, "No, we won't be left behind. We will still be important and useful." And he says, "We have lost friends, but that doesn't mean it will happen to us." And that's like what was said in nearly every movie about the Holocaust. There's no way they'll do it to us. Just because it's someone else, we're fine. We're still useful. Like look at Schindler's List. You know, there's like a one-armed Jew in there. He's like, I'm still useful. I can do stuff. He gets taken outside and shot. Let's see. Um, Buzz actually suggests that to avoid being put in the trash can and carried off, that they hide in an attic. And then once they get to uh, the daycare,
Yeah,
they're essentially put in their own camp, and in that camp they're abused, and then they're told that they have to work to earn their place. And then close to the end of the movie, when they're being shoved into the incinerator. Well, actually, they're being shoved into a fucking incinerator.
yeah, that's the very first thing that I thought of when you said that.
Yeah, like they're going to be burned, and they're alive. We know they're alive. It's established these toys are alive. They can feel pain. They're basically people. Okay, and then at the very end, of course, they're whisked away and they're saved, and they're taken to a brand new home. But there's always the reminder that they just need to be vigilant about it happening again.
Yeah, that one's pretty
That's
sad to think
really
about.
dark.
It
It
really
is.
is.
It really is. Like it's I think that's probably the most. No, 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 no. That is not the most depressing one that I had, actually. That's really
Even
not.
Rugrats or Ed and Eddie is the darkest one.
No, 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 no. Charlie Brown is probably darker than that.
Oh, oh no! Don't do Charlie Brown.
Yeah, can I
No.
can I ruin Charlie Brown for everybody?
You're a dark, evil person.
I am, but okay. See, okay. Oh, the Charlie Brown one gives me the creeps. Like out of everything else, it gives me like the most amount of heebie-jeebies. The conspiracy theory here is that Charlie Brown is actually dying,
See,
and he has cancer.
I told you earlier, John is not a nice person.
No, he really is
I,
not.
I'm not, but the theory is that he is that he actually has cancer, and everything in his world is actually a dream. But because he knows that he's not going to live, that's why everything he goes through fails for him. That's that's why he can never kick the football, and that's why he's always sad, and he's always feeling defeated, and that kind of ruins Charlie Brown for me to think about that. It really
Yeah,
does.
that's pretty.
I don't like that, John. I was talking about cameos and toys appearing in different places where they're not supposed to be, and you're like, oh, Charlie Brown has cancer and he's dying, and the toys represent the Holocaust.
You had to take it to a dark place. Dark, sad place.
While I'm ruining things, let me go ahead and ruin the Smurfs for you, because the Smurfs is
No.
yes, yes. It like I read it today and I was like, oh my god, that could not be what's going on. But apparently, the Smurfs,
I don't think I want to be friends with you anymore.
the Smurfs, they don't specifically represent Nazis, but they represent white supremacist groups.
John!
Oh god, it's so horrible. Okay.
We were having a
Okay.
good conversation about cameos. You just
Okay.
ruined everything good about this world.
Okay, let me get to this. Okay. Okay.
I kind of thought. I'm still trying to understand how.
Okay, I'm getting to it. Okay. Okay. Every Smurf wears white except for their leader, which is how the Ku Klux Klan outfits are structured. The leadership wears red. Okay. Um, their enemy is Gargamel, and he has dark hair. He has a long nose. He likes money, and like he's a caricature of stereotypical Jewish behavior, and that is backed up by his cat actually being named after the Jewish god of death. I mean, angel of death.
This is just sad.
I can't with you, dude.
It's just sad.
I
Why?
legitimately can't with you.
Why, John? Why?
What about Donald Duck having post-traumatic stress disorder?
You go into Rugrats. Ruin Rugrats.
Oh, no, because I can ruin Rugrats.
But see, I like that. Well, and I won't necessarily say I like that theory, but I do know that one really well.
Okay. You do Rugrats, I guess. I won't ruin Rugrats. One
Okay,
of the
I'll
most
ruin.
popular children's cartoons ever. I won't ruin Rugrats.
I'm going to be the fan favorite after this just because I have not completely ruined everyone's childhood.
Okay, no. Okay. I started out this show with some happiness and some silliness, and John ruined everything. And I will say that the Rugrats is like my favorite show from when I was little. But the theory goes that the Rugrats were just a figment of Angelica's imagination. Chucky died along with his mom, and that's why Chaz is a nervous wreck all the time. Tommy was born, stillborn, and that's why Stu is constantly in the basement making toys. The DeVilles had an abortion, and Angelica couldn't figure out whether it would be a boy or a girl, creating the twins. As for all grown up, teenage Angelica became addicted to various narcotics, which further aggravated her schizophrenia, bringing her back to her childhood and thus her creations she obsessed over. Because of the time lapse between the present and the last time she interacted with her creations, she made them older. Angelica was constantly taking hits of acid, so she would never have to live without her creations, who were her only company. In a judgmental world, Angelica's mom actually died of a heroin overdose just after Angelica was born, and Drew, in his depression, married a gold digger that Angelica idolized because she fooled herself into thinking it was her real mom, but always had a concept of her mom, Cynthia, and took a Barbie doll and made it into her mom's image, wearing an unwashed orange dress and having jacked up hair, which is why she was so attached to it. Later in life, she followed in her mom's footsteps with the drugs and everything, and died of an overdose at 13. There's a slightly tweaked version where Susie, the girl who lives across the street, was Angelica's only friend, and eventually became her psychologist, and teamed up with Nickelodeon to make the Rugrats.
I like that one
as an
version better.
homage to
I like
Angelica after she dies of an overdose.
I like that version better.
Oh, and in this version, Chaz falls in love with a hooker named Kira and marries her.
That's also disturbing, but
See, my personal favorite Rugrats theory is that Tommy is actually a Time Lord.
What the fuck, dude?
oh, because of the
Yes,
screwdriver.
yes,
Oh, the
yes. Thank you.
screwdriver.
The creators of the show were actually Doctor Who fans,
Of
and
course.
there is a scene where they are in a toy store or something like that, and there's actually a Dalek behind Chucky. But Tommy's magical answer to everything is his screwdriver, and he always wears blue, and they always go on these adventures. Like it makes sense, to kind of reference Doctor Who, I guess, but that would explain why in an episode of All Grown Up, he says something about used to carry a screwdriver with him everywhere he went. So it's like he's possibly no longer an incarnation of the Doctor or something like that.
Fucked up.
That's at least a much happier version.
But see, speaking of Time Lords, there's one about the Magic School Bus that says that Miss Frizzle is also a Time Lord.
I would
That
like
I believe.
One. I believe that one.
Because, like the bus is capable of
Yeah.
changing its size and everything.
That would make sense.
But the best all-time theory about Captain Planet is... No, I just ruined it. The kids from Magic School Bus go through so many magical adventures and everything, when they're kids, they grow up and they wind up getting the rings of power and they work with Captain Planet.
I'm kind of confused about that one, actually.
Well,
I don't know.
The only one that really didn't make any sense about that is how did they become like how did they grow up? Like Alenka is in Russia, but in here she's in, I guess, the United States. But apparently every character that was in whatever show Magic School Bus is at some point in time they switch to being a Planeteer.
That one's kind of... I don't know about that one.
You know which one of us has not actually had a theory to discuss yet?
But
that would be you.
Let's see. I think my favorite one that I've found so far is the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. And this was one of my favorite shows, even when I was a teenager. And the theory goes that there's two different theories. And they involve Frankie and Madame Foster. One of them is that Frankie is actually an imaginary friend of Madame Foster that she made to take care of the imaginary friends because she knew she was getting older and she was going to die soon. And she wanted someone there to take care of everyone.
Which is exactly why Frankie looks exactly like Madame Foster. Even though they say it's her granddaughter, but she could also just be the imaginary granddaughter.
Yeah. And this kind of makes sense. There's a few people that will argue with this one. And they'll say that, do you remember the episode with the scribbles?
Mm-hmm.
Some people think that Frankie made the scribbles.
Really?
Yeah. Now, if Frankie made the scribbles, then she could not be an imaginary friend, obviously. Because, an imaginary friend can't make another imaginary friend. But it depends on if you think she actually made the scribbles or not. Or if she just opened the door to the scribbles. And the scribbles were already there. The other argument is in one episode we see that Frankie has a driver's license. Now, the driver's license raises a whole kind of interesting dynamic because then she's either not an imaginary friend, obviously, or she is an imaginary friend and the government recognizes imaginary friends as people.
Well, I don't know if we could say that they recognize them as people. I just think that because she looks so human, she could pose for a human and she could pass it off.
No, because you need like a birth certificate. Like they would have unless Madame Foster could forge documents, of course, but
And I mean, she could just if Frankie's her imaginary friend, then
that would be
she
very
could
elaborate.
have the imaginary documents, which would then be physical documents.
Could they make imaginary documents? I don't remember them. Maybe? I
Well, I
don't know.
mean, the really tall one had a basketball, and he
Yeah,
was
but
imagined with that basketball. I mean, if Madame Foster really went all out, she could have imagined a granddaughter with
with
all
like
of
a
the
social security
proper,
card,
yeah, with
birth
all of
certificate.
the proper documents. This way that, you know.
That would be the most elaborate imagine. Okay. Anyways, um, I kind of like the idea that the government actually recognizes that imaginary friends are people, and that they are documented, and they can go get driver's licenses and things like that. It's just most of them aren't functional enough to survive in society on their own.
Yeah, and a lot of them don't like like the
Like
tall
Coco
one has
can't talk.
one long arm and then one little arm, and he has a big eye and a little eye. And I mean, he's very, very tall, so he's not
Yeah,
practical to exist in a world where,
and
you
Coco
need to
can't
your
talk.
yeah.
And things like that. But Frankie obviously can do all those things.
Hmm.
The other theory that I've seen is that Madame Foster is actually the imaginary friend because we see her, jump around. She's super active. She's always doing these crazy things, even though she's this really, really old lady.
Madame Foster could just be a Jedi.
That too, she
And
could be Yoda. Maybe she's the wife of Yoda, or maybe she's
well, she could
Yoda's
just be a very active old lady.
descendant. That's true. But anyways, the theory goes that Frankie or Madame Foster was getting very, very old. She was about to die, and after she died, Frankie couldn't let her go. So she imagined Madame Foster as her grandmother, and she she basically, so Frankie is the one basically running the place, and she's just hiding the fact that Madame Foster died, and um Mr. Harriman is going along with this because he likes Frankie and he loves Madame Foster still, so he's also helping her hide the fact that Madame Foster is an imaginary friend as well. So that's the other theory.
I don't really like either of those theories because then it means they're not real.
A lot of theories kind of make it kind of like I don't like the theory that Up is all imaginatory. Like the entire story to Up is just pure imagination.
Well, I mean, I get that the whole idea of Foster's home is imagination, but I don't like the idea that two of the main characters could mo one of them is not real, and one of them, under sad circumstances, is an imaginary friend.
Yeah, it's it, when you start thinking about conspiracy theories, it tends to go into a very dark and depressing kind of state of mind. Courage the Cowardly Dog.
No, that one's sad. Don't you dare.
Actually, this one isn't that sad.
It
This
is
one,
sad.
no, no, no,
Well, I mean, it's not that sad, but
it's not really sad. It's just that Courage is a normal dog, and we're seeing the world through Courage's eyes. Because he thinks he lives in the middle of nowhere because he lives out on a farm, and he's not allowed to really go outside or go explore. So the world outside to him is there's nothing outside to him. It's nowhere. And then all the monsters and the scary things are really just his perception and fear of the things and his desire to protect Eustace and Muriel. So that I don't think that one's that sad.
well, I mean, it's still kind of sad because he's terrified of the world around him, and he thinks that he's doing everything in his power to keep his family safe, which is adorable, but in reality, if you think about it that way, then he really doesn't need to do that.
But well, we don't know
Which is
that
why he
either.
gets yelled at so much, is because they think he's acting up.
Well, we don't know that either because several times he does help them, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But
Here's
not all the scary things might necessarily be just good things that he's afraid of. Like he might actually be protecting them, maybe from a robber or helping them in a disaster or something like that.
okay. Well, here's my stance on it because I actually have dogs. Cash, the one that's like understandably my baby, he will go out of his way to protect people who, from us. People come in, like if someone comes in and he hears the noise, he runs and barks. He'll look out the window and bark at whatever's there. Like most dogs, feel that he has to protect me. Because I I'm his people. So he has to protect me. And whenever he jumps on somebody, or barks at somebody he's not supposed to, you know, we get on to him. I say, no, don't do that. Like, that's kind of expected from a dog. So, like, the idea that courage is actually what we're seeing the world through makes a lot of damn sense because it is like what a dog would do. They do react to things that they think are threats, because they love whatever people are taking care of them.
Not only that, Courage itself is a very dark show. This kind of this actually lightens the show to me somewhat. If you ever really watch Courage, it's very, very dark. It's very, some of the endings are really terrifying. Like where Eustace and Muriel turns into puppets, and Courage he basically controls the puppets to keep his family together because they're dead. It's just they're very dark. They're very dark episodes in Courage. So this kind of lightens the mood to me. This is one conspiracy theory that I actually like. I think this kind of improves the show, honestly.
Well, see, okay, since we've hit a high note now, and we're actually just over an hour now, I think that's a good spot to leave off for this week.
This is why I'm here, to bring the show back up.
You don't want to ruin any more cartoons for our viewers.
Well, I mean, next week we're going to, because we've already said we're going to do a two-part, so we'll just give everybody a week to recover and before they
Expect John to break your heart again.
Next week we ruin Ed and Eddie.
Why?
Yes. Well, because it's actually because Dany said that. Yes, we're going to lead off with Ed and Eddie next week because there's no reason not to.
You two are terrible, terrible people.
I'm sorry. I like that theory a lot.
It's very, very
it's sad and
sad.
depressing,
It's
but it's good.
sad.
It's sad as hell, but it's awesome too.
Anyway, that's going to be it for this week. Thank you for listening. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, like us on Facebook. Tell Nick how much you hate him. Also, by the way, for those who are interested in the contest we announced for the fan sign, your secret phrase, yes, you've had to listen to this whole video just to hear it. So,
We really should have said it earlier.
No, you
no,
have to
no.
listen to the whole thing first. That's how these
Hey,
things work.
That's right. Your secret phrase is listen to the video next week because I'm going to say it then.
What?
You're gonna make them wait till next week.
You are a terrible person.
You are a terrible person.
I am so mean. No, okay. I'm kidding.
Say the phrase.
Actually,
Say the phrase.
okay. For real, the phrase the phrase is actually Gravity Falls. Because maybe my next week, like I intended to bring it up, and Nick and I discussed it, and Dany and we all three discussed it a little bit. But there's actually a lot of in-depth stuff for Gravity Falls. Like there's enough we could actually do a single episode just about Gravity Falls. So that is your secret phrase. Thank you for listening all the way through this. That's what it is. Like I said in the rules, you have to have liked our Facebook page. You have to like the status that mentioned it, and you have to repeat the phrase. Also, the more people you invite to like the page that accept, the more that will count towards you winning. So, with that, we're going to say goodbye for this episode, and we'll talk to you next week, right, everybody?
Yes, I will be here.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.